Okay, so the recording started, and today we're going to be reviewing the current state of the new mobile product that we're still anticipating to release in September. What that means is it'll be available in September for anybody who wants to start making the transition. You won't have to do it immediately. It's not a overnight turn off current mobile, turn on new mobile. Both products will be running for a while. What we've seen in with some of our Illinois users who have already made the switch is they've picked like one or two inspectors to switch over to the new app, let them use it for a while till they get comfortable with it, and then gradually get the rest of the staff switched over. That way they can see what type of questions, issues that the one or two inspectors run into, and then also that way for when everybody else makes the switch, they have experienced users to refer to. So that's just a suggestion. However you want to do it is fine. Again, this is available on the demo server too, where if you want to take it for a test drive, use it. There was some of the counties have done that already. We've received some feedback from some of the users who've done that, and we've been trying to incorporate features that are feasible and suggestions that they made that are feasible into the product as much as we can. So that being said, first of all, just to make sure everybody can hear me, right? Shelly, can you hear me?
John, I can hear you.
Okay, thanks, Marvin.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
Okay. All right, so once you log into the new mobile software, which is CDP Mobile 2, this will be the page where you see your forms. Now, you'll notice there's a lot less forms here. That's because we've combined the as many inspection forms into one as possible. Because we're not making these look like the paper forms, we were able to do that. So each of the forms has the number, the state number listed, and then also in the description right below it, you'll see like the 1050, 1163, 1617, and 3601 forms for summer camp, schools, daycares, resident camp. Those are all in the same form. So the difference between those will be when you get to the violation page. That violation page will be populated based on the establishment type you're using. So it's more dynamic. There's less forms that you have to refer to. We've tried to incorporate all the same functionality from the current mobile, so nothing is missing. Some of the things that the new app does allow us to do is, for example, using the camera on the device. So if you switch to an iPad or a Surface Pro or even an Android, and any one of those three is fine to use. Things like the camera within the device. You'll be able to take the pictures. I'm doing this on an iPad today, so I'll be able to, I could take a picture right with the iPad, use it, and incorporate that into the form to have it sent up. So we'll go ahead and get started. The data download portion, I'm not going to download data because I've already done it, and I don't want to excuse me, spend time waiting for data to download. So I've logged in as Forsyth County. Cheryl, I hope that's okay. I just wanted to pick a county to use for demo purposes. Now I'm logged into one of our test environments, the demo server that you guys, if you want to have access to, we can get that for you. If I wanted to resync, well, the initial data download, I would use this form. I would just click download data button and wait for it to finish. When I'm done, I'll discard the form. On forms such as this, it'll say, are you sure you want to discard? I'm just going to click yes. If you are doing an inspection and for whatever reason you want to just delete it and start over, I'll go through that. It's a little bit more complicated of a discard process. The reason for that being, we found initially the discard of an inspection form was exactly what I just did. What we found was inspectors in another state were thinking they were finishing the form, because when you go to, well, I'll have to show it to you when I open the form. When you would go click finish, you get a button that says, a pop-up that says, are you sure you want to finish this form? Yes or no. They click yes and it goes. Discarding the form was the same thing. Discard the form and it just comes to see, sure you want to discard it, yes. The problem was that, and this is something that's beyond our control, but we're working with our partner to make a change to this, is the finish and the discard options are right next to each other on the menu. And it was very easy for somebody to accidentally swipe discard. The pop-up looks virtually the same except for the wording, and after you use it for a while, you like any other pop-up, you stop reading it, you just click the OK button and you go. What was happening all too often was inspectors were discarding sessions that they thought were finishing. We're making some change for that, and I'll show you what the process will be for that now. So I'm going to start and use the 4007 form. That's probably the most common form you guys use. We use that for review today. So if I want to use that form, I'm doing this all touch screen right now on an iPad. It'll take you first to the demographic page. So you got some choices right now. There's, if I select my restaurants, that's the first thing. I have to at least pick an establishment type. And if I go to, right now I got 795 items in my list. So if I wanted to narrow that down, I could type in a part of a name. Say we're looking for an Arby's. Cut that list from 795 down to 6 items. So there's a way, we have ways built in to make it easy enough for you to find your establishments. If, 1 second. Okay, there. Just so you know, I've muted everybody. I've asked that the questions be held until, we'll see how much time we have left once we get through the demo. If there is time, we can field a few questions. But probably the questions might be better served to be just make note of them, send them in the email to me, and I'll answer them as quick as possible. So I did just mute everybody's phone. I was hearing some background noise. And so just so we can cover everything today. So on the screen now, I typed in part of an establishment name, and I got the list down from 795 to 6 items. Now, if I want to see those 6, I can either click right in where it says 6, and all it's going to give me is establishment names. If that's enough, that's, you can do that. Otherwise, if you tap on the little grid button to the far right, and the problem with this demo is, since I'm not using a mouse, you can't see actually where I'm clicking. And I've also noticed that the GoToMeeting is way behind. It's not showing the pop-ups. Hang on a second. Now the GoToMeeting is something's happened. The GoToMeeting is not showing what I'm doing. Let me see here.
Hey, John, maybe stop showing your screen and re-show it again.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, I see your setup screen there. See the setup screen there?
Where?
You just went to the setup, settings with all the little icons on there. I can see that part. So
okay, all right, so it's caught up now. Oh, that's weird. All right, I'll keep an eye on my other monitor, because I'm doing it on the iPad, but I can also see what you guys are seeing, and if it starts lagging behind, I'll slow down. All right, so I've selected my establishment. just gives me some demographic information here. Tom, question for you. The information, the log information on the bottom, is that, I know that's more internal for us, and we would use that if there's ever such an issue for some potential debugging or something. Will everybody see that, or is that something unique that we hide? Tom, did I lose you?
Nope, I'm here. Sorry.
Did you hear the question?
Sorry, I did not.
The log information below where it says comments, is that something that the users will see on their end, or is that just internal to us?
They will see it. There's not a whole lot of information in there. Maybe in the future we might hide that.
Okay.
So I'll put it on a different page.
Okay. So you will see it, but I would just not pay attention to it.
We might move it off this page for the moment just to get it away so they don't see it.
Okay. All right. So back to where I left off. I've selected my establishment. There's enough demographic information to confirm that I do have the right one. And so now to advance through this form, I can either hit at the bottom where it says demographics, I can just touch that. I apologize, this GoToMeeting is really slow at bringing up pop-ups, or it's not showing the pop-ups. What I'm seeing right now that you guys are not seeing is a list of the different pages of the form. I see demographics, inspection header, line items, violations, temperatures, inspection footer, and discard session. So I'm going to refrain from using that, but on every page you'll see the button, just like on the bottom blue bar where it says demographics. Every page will have that button there. It'll show you what page you're on. You can tap that button and you'll get a list of specific pages. So, typically when you first start the inspection, you're just going to go page to page to page in order. If you have to go back and stuff, that's just an easier navigation instead of having, if you need to go back from page 5 to page 1, you can go directly back and not have to go page by page. What I'm going to use is in the lower right corner, you'll see that blue arrow and a white circle. I'll use that to go to the next page. It's got my inspection date, which is defaulted to today. I can change that for anything not greater than today. I'm going to select my inspection type, inspection. It populated the time in as right now. You can change that by clicking the little clock. And say you started it right at 8 o'clock. I'm going to leave the timeout blank for now because I'm not done. And I'm going to select my status code. I'm going to say they're still in a status, permit status A. I can update establishment emails here, and that will play if you have those. If there's no emails available for the establishment now, but you think you're going to want to use the email option to send the inspection instead of printing it, you can put them in here. So it's got the wastewater, the water supply. Again, I'm going to hit the arrow in the right corner. And now I'm on the line items. One of the suggestions we got from the users, and we're going to do this as a county configurable option, is when this page loads here, to have all of them marked as in compliance. We've had that same argument, well, I wouldn't say argument, discussion, with our Utah users, our Illinois users. Some like that, some don't want it, especially from a supervisor standpoint. Some users say, no, I want my inspectors to have to fill out each one so that I know that they're looking at each particular item or for each particular item. Others have said, no, let's mark them all as incompliant. It makes the inspection more efficiency. I trust my inspectors to go and still look through them all and just find the ones that are out of compliance. So we're going to have an option. Each county can choose whether to use it. It will be county-wide, though. We won't be able to go down to the user level. where if you want it, use that option, and we turn it on for you, all these will come marked as in compliance and none of them will be yellow. So then it would be up to the inspector to mark the ones out of compliance. So then you can select the food code so you can get the Priority Foundation course taken care of for a food inspection. So in this case, I don't have that option yet. So I'm going to start marking all the ones that are in yellow are required. I'll mark a couple of them out of compliance, just to mark one not applicable, put one as not observed, and the rest I'll just mark as in compliance. And again, I'm just going through and tapping these all with my finger. Okay, so I got rid of all the yellow, except for the ones that are out of compliance because they still require more information. So I got my violations identified. So now I'm going to hit my arrow again and go to the next page where I'm going to document each of the violations. So I marked 3 out of compliance. So you see in the top bar where it says violation line selected, it says 3 items in parentheses. If I click in there, it'll show me those. Again, you guys are not. This is really annoying. None of my pop-ups are showing. So I clicked inside. I clicked the little grid button to the far right, and what I get is I see my 3 violations. It shows the code, the description, any comments that have been entered up to this point, which none have, the weight, and then the CDI corrected during an inspection. So what I'm seeing is code 6, hands clean and properly washed. Code 8, hand washing sinks supplied and accessible. Code 13, food separated and protected. So it just shows what I have selected so far. If I just tap inside where it says tap here to see list, the 3 items, all it shows me is the numbers. It just shows me 6, 8, and 13. So once I'm in there, I can tap the 6. And I'm waiting for GoToMeeting to catch up again. Can you guys hear me? GoToMeeting just said my audio connection was lost for a minute.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, it came back. Okay, so I have violation 6. That was the first one I marked out of compliance, so I'm going to update that one. In the gray box, it gives me a little bit more information about the violation. Predefined comments, I'm going to hit the drop down, and I get the food codes that apply to that particular item. So I'm going to select 2-301.14. So that is now in there. In addition to selecting a predefined comment, I can type using the keyboard. When I'm done with the keyboard, make that go away. I can also use the voice recognition button. Now this is available on Windows products. I think it's only available on the Surface Pros if you're using those. So I hit the microphone. I am showing how to use the microphone for voice recognition and violations. So done with that, and I get rid of the thing. So again, you can type them in, select predefined comments, or use the microphone for the voice recognition. Then I'm going to come down. And everything in yellow is required. And if you see, just like on Current Mobile, you get the little red, I think at Current Mobile it's a red stop sign. This is a red circle with an X in it. If you hit that, it'll show you the fields that are still required to be entered. And again, you're not getting that drop down, so you don't see it. What I got is a list of all the fields that I have not filled out yet. Just as in Current Mobile, when you've entered all the required information, that little red circle will turn green. Once you turn green, oh, there it is. I guess they're just taking a really long time. So there's your, I gotta wait for that to catch up because that's gone on mine. Well, I apologize for this. It's clear that iPads were not meant for GoToMeetings. You guys are all still seeing that the list. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's terribly, terribly slow. I'm gonna go back in there again. So, all right. So here's my violation 6. I put in my comments. I marked it as a half deduction. I'm not going to mark this corrected on site. It's not a repeat, and I'm not going to mark it as a verification required. Once I have all the information in, again, if you want to take a picture, over down at the bottom, the far right corner, you'll see the little mountain with the sun over it. I click that, and it brings me up to the picture page. If I want to use the camera, I would click the photo button. If I want to upload a picture that I already have, I could use the upload button. I'm going to click photo and take a picture of my desk. I'm going to say use that photo, and then if I wanted to draw on it, I could do that. I could change the color and then save it. So you can take multiple pictures. The pictures will line up as thumbnails across the bottom of the page. So if I went in and did another picture, another monitor, and save it, and you can just continue to take pictures and have them on there. Now, if you want to wait till the end, if there's a picture that you want to take the front of the building or something, there's other places where you can take the picture too. They don't have to be done at the violation level. So I'm going to save that. So I've filled out violation 6. I'm going to do the same thing for 18. I'll pick that predefined comment. I'm going to say that's a full deduction. No pictures. I'm going to do, the pop-ups are coming up quicker at least now. Violation 13. I will pick that predefined comment. It's a full deduction, and save that. So now I got my 3 violations documented, and I can move on to the temperatures. So if I want to record a temperature, just using the keyboard, it would type that in. Again, you could use the voice recognition. Refrigerator located in back of kitchen. I'm done. And then the temperature. Okay, so I've recorded one temperature. If I want to see that, I can click inside the box where it says tap here, and it's just going to give me that little description. If I want to see more information on it, I can see the item, the location, and the temperature that I took. And if I had all, they would all be listed here in like a grid view. So I'm going to close that. Move on to, now I'm back on my last page of the food inspection. I'm not going to do the timeout just yet. I'm going to fill in the person in charge, type their name in. I'm going to tap the, oh, wait a minute, I got to wait for this to catch up again. I'm way ahead of you guys. Okay. So let me go back to the top of the page now that you guys can see that. I did not enter the timeout yet, so it's still yellow because I'm still going to go through the signature process here. So what I did was I put in the person in charge name who was there. I typed it in. Now I tap the where it says person in charge signature. I tap that, and you'll get a signature box. So there will be no more issues where if they swipe out of the signature box, it wipes out one of the comments, that issue we had a while back. So they sign here. And all right, this was another request that we had, and we're going to go ahead with this one too. Regulatory first name, last name. What we're going to change it to where you can select the inspector. Let's see, Brock did this one, and it'll populate. We're going to remove those. Well, not remove them, but we're going to hide them on the screen, the regulatory first name and last names. When you select the EHS ID, it will populate those two fields behind the scenes. So for now, I'm going to put those in. And then I'm going to sign it myself as the inspector. Just waiting for GoTo to catch up again. So far what I've done, that GoToMeeting is not showing, I've typed in the regulatory first name and last name, and I went into the signature pad for the EHS signature. I've signed it. Okay, I lost the audio connection there again for a few seconds. I'm back. So I'm not sure what you guys heard and didn't hear. When I noticed it was the audio had been lost, what I was saying was that so now the screen is caught up to where I'm at. I've got the EHS's name in there. I got them selected. And Tom, did you hear me mention that the regulatory name was going to be hidden? I'm not sure when my audio was lost there.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that was the end of what you said.
Okay. So I've that'll be gone. So I've selected the EHS. I've now signed the form. I don't have a verification required for this one. If I wanted to take additional pictures, again here, you could hit the button. Same process as before on the violations. You could add pictures to the form here. So at this point, I'm going to hit my red circle. So I have time out has got to be entered, and it's got to be greater than when my time in. So I'm just going to hit now. So 8 o'clock I started, 8:31 I'm finishing. And so if you want to print the inspection, you can come up here, and this is where now we'll still be generating the printable form to look like the forms. So all the information that I've captured is here. The violations that are marked out of compliance are 6, 8, and 13. Everything else is marked in except for the ones that I marked. I marked 1 or 2 as not applicable or not observed. I forget which ones I did. 22 was not observed, and 16 was not applicable. So now on iPads and Surface Pros, you can zoom in on this if you want to get a clearer look at the printed form. Because when it goes to the print screen like this, it is pretty small. And the print options, that's going to differ from device to device. So on an iPad and on the Surface Pros, I think on Androids as well, you can just use your fingers, like when you zoom in on a picture on your phone, you can do that to see it. So if you don't want to print it, there's going to be an email option that you say, you click yes, I want to email this report. And what it's going to do is just going to require the owner operator to sign that they're acknowledging that they're willing to accept the electronic receipt. And that may be while you're there. It may be when you get back to the office. So they sign here. So you have their acknowledgement. And you're not seeing it on your screen yet. You will shortly. I scrolled up the email signatures. I'm going to go ahead and, while that's GoToMeeting catching up, I'm going to go ahead and put in an email address. Now, if there were email addresses on this establishment already, they would be pre-populated here. You can override those if they wanted to go to a different email. And when GoToMeeting catches up, you'll see that I have a signature in to authorize an electronic copy of the inspection form. There's going to be an email in there, and my little red circle up at the top has turned green. This is taking even longer than was before. Okay. So now you guys are seeing that the signature's there, the email's there. My red circle has turned green. So if I wanted to, I could go ahead and finish this inspection right now. I could also just save it, close it, and like on Current Mobile, go out and do multiple inspections and upload them all at once when I get back to the office. But just for a demo, I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. Now this is going to take a bit longer than it will on the production server. Things are, in these test environments, they tend to run a bit slower than our production. Hey Tom, that's the message that I got earlier when I was downloading data, by the way. Have you ever seen it before?
The waiting for server?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen it before, but not much on the iPad. Unless the iPad doesn't have very good Wi-Fi or connection or something.
Well, it shows I got it's recognizing my Wi-Fi, and it's got a strong signal.
Hmm.
Obviously, this would have been much faster if I was in the office today. It's still telling me it's not getting a response back from the server.
I'm not getting much of a response on the server myself from demo.
I'm gonna go on my other monitor and see if IMS is coming back on demo.
Oh, I'm not getting. The micro side one, the mobile server on demo is not. I'm not getting a response from.
Okay, so it's not the database server. This is the micro server.
Well, that one. I'm trying to go to the IMS now, but
Is there a way for me to just kill this so that I can go through some of the other features here that I wanted to show everybody? I guess what I could do is I could close the app and start over.
yeah. Well, you start to close the app. The form will still be there. You just have to then just reopen it. The sessions should still be there.
All right, let me do that. Okay. Yeah, so that's, make sure that that's the same one that I did. Yep. 1622, or 6 and 8. The two pictures, yeah. All right, so the session I have is still there. I apologize for that. I wanted to show the email function, so I wanted to finish this form and then show you the email. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that. So what I'm going to do instead is close this form. While I'm here, though, I want to show you the discard feature that I mentioned at the beginning of this. So you'll see that finish and discard are right next to each other. So very easily you could accidentally say discard this. Pop-up come up, looks almost exactly the same. Unless you catch that word discard in a blue thing, you would eventually just get rid of your session. So say I clicked yes, discard. Now it's going to tell me I must use the discard session page to truly do it. So I click OK. It's going to come up. Now it's giving me something that I have to actually read. And so I go, oh, wait a minute. No, that's not what I want to do. So I would go back and close that. So now my session is still there. Click that up. So then I could go and finish it. So let me go back and I'm going to close this. And I'm going to go and open up that exact same form again. This time I'm going to select the swimming pool. And okay, so this is what was not shown earlier. I clicked the little grid button and it's given me more information than just the establishment name. So it gives me the full address, the state ID and the name so I can make sure that I'm getting the right one, I'm at the right location. So I'll pick this Bolton Pool. So now I have my demographic information, much just like when I did the restaurant, when I did the Arby's. Again, I'm going to say it's an inspection, and I'm going to change my time. So now the additional pool information. So even though I open up the same form in my apps, information that's specific to swimming pools here will show up below the inspection header. The operator name, the pool chlorine, pH, so on. And then the emails, which was on the food form as well. Now you notice here then too, so this was dynamically populated because I selected a swimming pool now instead. So instead of seeing all the food items, I'm seeing the pool inspection items. And I would just go through the same process if I mark that one out. I then say that was the only one that I had. I select violation 2. I can pick my predefined comments. Now here the features are all the same. I could use the keyboard. I could use the voice recognition. I could take pictures. Click save. And go through the rest of what's on the pool form. General comments. Again here, this is where voice recognition may come in pretty handy. You could probably speak your comments in much faster than you'd be able to type them. And then I get back to the back page where all the same information is there. You have them sign it. You pick the EHS signs it, and the email options are the same. So the concept here was to try to get more consistencies in the form of data capture, so you're not having, particularly when you hire a new employee, you're not having to teach them all these different forms. I'm just going to save this one and close it. So now you'll see back on the menu, I have 2 open sessions. So if you choose to go out and you want to say upload all the inspections when you get back to the office, this underneath each one of the different forms, I have 2 on this. If I went and opened this particular form, I would, and again, you're only going to get in the establishment type box, you're only going to get those establishment types that are appropriate for this form. So say this was a nursing home, and I go and take a look at the nursing homes. I scroll down, pick Summerstone. I apologize for that wait coming up. Apparently it's still trying to send that inspection from before. Okay, so again, same type of deal. Demographics are there. Information specific to this establishment type, capacity, permittee, operator shows up. Inspection, and then the violations that are appropriate for hospitals, nursing homes, adult daycare, and other institutions. So you see that the violations are here, general comments, all the same. So the application is pretty consistent from type to type. It's only going to differ where it's appropriate, and that's in the violations and any extraneous data that's specific to a certain establishment type. I'm going to close that. So now you'll see that I have 3 sessions open, one under EHS 1213, 1268, 2094, 4054, and then my 2 that I did earlier. On the inspection history, if I go here and select restaurant, and we'll look for McDonald's. So I got 19 McDonald's. So I want to see the history for this one on East Haines Mill. So your history form will be very similar to what you have now. If you want to, you'll see the 4 inspections. If you want to look at the details of that last one, if you just click that checkbox, it'll show you the violations were out of compliance, the comments that were there for that, and some other information that shows up for that particular establishment. From there, I can discard that history form. Print only forms, those that show up on Current Mobile, they're here as well. Hand washing signs. I click the language that I wanted in. I can print it. The shellfish ones. So they're all there. Discard that. And just so you guys see, I'll open up one of the other forms too here. Go to the first one. Again, I'm only going to see a limited number of establishment types. Childcare. See all the childcares that there. Close it. And the violations again populate accordingly. Now that's where we're at right now with this product on the food and lodging side of things. The on-site, we're still in earlier stages of development. We have several of the forms built. At this point, none of them are completely functional yet, so I'm not going to bother showing those. But they're going to be done in a similar fashion. You're going to see the forms here on the on your menu page, excuse me, and then a lot of the functionality, things like touch screens, voice recognition, using the hardware that's on the device, such as the cameras. And that's the one good thing about this product is the voice recognition, the cameras. It's taking advantage of the technology that's already built into the hardware. There's no extra third-party proprietary stuff that's going on there. This version of CDP Mobile will use up much less memory on your machines than Current Mobile does. And it's what we found is the feedback we've gotten from, I think we have about 4 or 5 counties that when they signed on with us in Illinois, those counties came on and went straight to this product. They didn't use the Current Mobile because they were fairly recently signed on, like in the last 6 months. And so they've started using the CDP Mobile 2 product right away, and they've had really good success with it. Salt Lake City, they made the switch over. They've been using this for now over a year, and that's a very large health department with, I think, in excess of 50 inspectors, and they're very, very happy with it. They find it much easier than the forms-based mobile. And while the forms-based mobile did serve its purpose in making a transition from paper to electronic a bit easier, with everybody getting more and more comfortable with computers and everything, the app version of it makes a lot more sense. The installation of this is much easier than Current Mobile as well. So aside from that form not going, that's basically what I wanted to show everybody today, so you could get a feel for where we're at. We're getting close to where we're going to start looking at trying to put in some extra enhancements based on suggestions I got. Again, I want to remind everybody that if you want to take this for a test ride, contact customer support and let them know, and they'll get you set up with, we ask that you limit it to, say, 1 or 2 users on the demo server. You can get in, do some inspections. And you will be able to send them up. I don't know what's happening today. We've had plenty of users that have been doing this already. But if you want to take it for a test ride, the live version of this, we're looking at a September release for the version 1. Again, if you want to get just a 1 or 2 inspectors switched over, let them work with it for a while, that would be a way to go. We'll keep everybody posted as we release additional versions of this, and we'll let you know what's included in that next release. And also, I'll keep everybody updated as to where we're at with the on-site portion for the septic and wells. Some of you, if you have inspectors that do both food and septic and wells, you may want to wait till it's all available so they're not using 2 different mobile products at a time. Now, if you want them to, if you do want them to switch over to the new mobile app, that is possible. You can use Current Mobile and CDP Mobile 2 at the same time. That's not a problem. And so that's basically it for today. Again, if you have any suggestions, questions, whatever, I ask that you please document them and send them to us. You can direct them to me. I'll answer them as soon as possible. And that's basically it. So I want to thank everybody for calling in. Hopefully you guys liked what you saw, and I'll be waiting any feedback from anybody. So again, thanks for calling in, and everybody have a great day.